Alright, it's time for another part of my top 10 games of 2021 list. For today's video, this is going to be number 8. And this is a game that I think came out with very little fanfare, but is a great example of a fantastic concept, and that is Treasures of the Aegean. Treasures of the Aegean is an example of one of those games that has a really solid foundation to it. This is an action-adventure game without any real combat. You are basically set loose in a massive parkour fantasy dream come to life. And the game itself has a great premise that your whole goal is to solve essentially this giant mystery on this island while being trapped in a time loop. And the game itself is kind of creating its own quasi-speedrun, as the true run requires you to solve all the puzzles that are required in a single play. And this is aided by some very fantastic moment-to-moment gameplay. The controls are very precise, the character feels great to move around in. And I really do have to give credit to developers for creating this just one of the biggest spaces, I think, in terms of this kind of 2D exploration. Each area is visually distinctive, it has some great music to it, and it is just a great concept I would like to see somebody run with or parkour with in the future. What the game does right is that it really looks at the quality of life and UX, because this game could have gone a far more confusing and more annoying route if it wasn't for the whole kind of memory or archive system that keeps tracks of all the clues, all the solutions, and what you have left to find on this island. You really don't need to go outside of the game at all in order to solve any one of these puzzles. Now, with that said, I do have a few misgivings about it, and what kind of keeps it from ranking higher. Some of the jumps felt a little too extreme, I think, for this kind of game. While this game does involve a lot of puzzle solving, it's still a 2D action platformer first and foremost, and if you're not used to that kind of level of jumping, it can be quite hard to nail. Fortunately, for the main path through, there is nothing that would be considered advanced or extreme in that respect. The game is also very much one and done. Once you finish it, outside of going for 100% if you want, there's not really anything else to explore or manipulate. I would love to see someone take this concept and run forward and maybe some random or procedural elements to it. But with that said, this is still a really great foundation I would like to see the developers hopefully build on for future games. And if you want to learn more about this game, I'll include a link to my review in the description down below. But that's going to do it for this video. We'll be back tomorrow for my number 7 pick. Duly liking and subscribing, and come back for daily discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, where he's in the on science of games.